he said, I want you to take out a sheet of paper and I want you to ask God what he thinks about you.
Whoo.
Because the first answers are usually like real churchy. You know, he says, I'm more than a conqueror. You know, he's like, I'm a royal priesthood, you know. And then he's like, no, like, what does God think about you? Dang it. When I'm just talking to God and I really hear his voice, it's not these grand things. It's very personal and it's very elementary. One of the quickest things I hear God say is, I like you.
Yeah.
I like spending time with you. Yeah. I think you're funny.
Yeah.
Hearing his voice, not just his voice to the church, his voice to me.
If you're a woman in your 20s or like late 20s or 30s, then you've probably asked yourself this question before: why not me? Why am I never first? Why am I never the first option? Why is it never me that somebody would cross the 7 seas for? And it hurts. Like, obviously, if you're asking yourself that question, you're in a position where you're just feeling like total crap, and you're just wondering, like, what are you doing wrong? What am I doing wrong that's making people not want to drop everything when I say I need help? Like, there are people that you've probably seen, like your friends or colleagues, whatever, like people who, if they say my apartment is like something is wrong at my apartment, 10 people will drop whatever they're doing to come over and help them. And then there are people who, they could say my apartment is flooding and nobody will come, like nobody's coming to help. And you'll ask yourself this question, like, I would do so much for so many people. Like if a friend of mine said that this is happening, I would drop everything and I would go and save her. Or if this guy that I'm dating or this guy that I'm in a situationship with, if he said he needed XYZ, I would drop everything and I would give it to him. So why is it that when it's me saying I need something, nobody is dropping their whole life to come and give me this thing? Why is no one dropping everything to come to my rescue? And this question reminds me of this poem by Naira Waheed, where she says, you broke the ocean in half to be here, only to meet nothing that wants you. And basically what this poem means to me is that you could, if someone doesn't want you, they don't want you. If someone doesn't see you the way that you see them, it doesn't matter how well you treat them, they're just never going to see you that way. If someone doesn't consider you to be the best thing they've ever seen, nothing you do will ever convince them that you are the best thing. I was reading this Reddit post, and on there it was like kind of like this girl who was saying something along these lines. She was like talking about this guy. Okay, it was deleted. I should have taken a screenshot. But basically it was this girl, and she was saying that she has a boyfriend. It was a young girl. She is like a 24-year-old, and she was saying that she has a boyfriend and he was sick. He got into an accident, or he was sick, I don't know. And she read his notes that he always writes like on his phone. And basically in those notes he was saying that he didn't really like her, and he was with her because she pursued him, and he was like, meh, whatever. And so he's with her. And so now he's sick, he's in hospital. She's been with him like the whole time he's been in there, and she's just like, do I stay? And like she feels now like she has to stay because he's sick. And my thing is, she thinks that her servitude is going to make this guy see her as the one. She thinks he's gonna like wake up and like look at her and be like, oh my God, you were here. My whole family loves you. Everyone is so grateful for you being here. You really must love me. Therefore, I love you back. And that's just not the way it works. You can do it like right. You can do everything that you want to do. You could break your back for this person. But if you're not number one, you're not number one. They don't see you that way. And the more you disrespect yourself, like falling over yourself to be this thing that you think they need, the more they disrespect you. The more that you show how little you think of yourself, the less that people will see you. So the reason why you're not being chosen and the reason why nobody's putting you first is because they can see that you don't put yourself first. Because a person who puts themselves first doesn't care about anything other than respecting themselves. A person who respects themselves, as soon as they saw those notes, first of all, they wouldn't have even been pursuing this guy that much to the point where they wore him down. That wouldn't have happened because she would have liked herself. And then they would have noticed too that this guy isn't putting any real effort, because before she read those notes, she would have known that this guy doesn't really care whether she lives or dies. Whether she comes over to visit, whether she doesn't come over to visit, he won't really care, he won't really mind. And so if she respected herself and she thought highly of herself, she would have noticed that and she would have moved on. But now she needed to see concrete evidence that this guy doesn't like her much. And she's very fortunate because a lot of women don't get to see that. Now that she has that concrete evidence, she doesn't pack up her stuff and get ready to go. She's still at the hospital, serving him, taking care of him, doing this, doing that. Why are you doing that? Do you not like yourself? Why do you feel like you deserve so little? Why is it that you think so little of yourself? If you could just look at yourself and see yourself through somebody who really likes you, there are people in your life that really, really like you. If you could look at yourself through their eyes, you would be ashamed of what you allow. You would be so embarrassed of what you allow in your life. If you could look at yourself through the eyes of God, your creator, the person that loves you the most, if you look at yourself and you imagine how he sees you, God likes you. God is your friend. And so if you think of yourself the way that God thinks of you, you would be so ashamed and embarrassed that you're treating yourself the way that you're treating yourself. You would gasp and be completely shocked that this is what you have allowed to happen in your life. With your permission, the way that you're letting people in and out of your life, however they choose, however they please, no standards, no sort of, no gatekeeping, nothing. If someone leaves, they leave. And then if they want to come back, they're welcome to come right back. You're not going to stop them. You're not going to ask them where they were. You're not going to, it's almost like you're treating your life like a trap house. In a trap house, everybody comes and goes however they please. If they want to go home, they'll go home for 3 days. And then if they want to come back and do drugs in here, have sex with random girls in here, do whatever they want, allowed. It's a trap house. Nobody cares about its upkeep. Nobody cares to keep it safe. Nobody cares to protect its assets. Nothing. It's an empty shell of a house. And so anybody can come in and do as they please. That's how you're treating yourself. You're treating yourself like a trap house. And then you wonder why nobody will break the ocean in half to come and rescue you. Well, nobody's going to do that because nobody would fall over themselves trying to save a trap house. Now, if it was a mansion and a well-looked after house and somebody said, hey, someone is coming to mess up this beautiful mansion, somebody would try and stop it. Because they're going to be like, hey, don't mess up this beautiful, upkept, this beautiful, well-kept mansion. Don't do that. It's a beautiful mansion. It doesn't deserve to be taken apart. And somebody would try and do something. But if somebody comes to the trap house and says, I'm going to burn this trap house to the ground, everyone's going to be like, meh, go ahead. Like, whatever. It's nothing to me. It's nothing pretty to look at. It doesn't make a difference to my life if it's burnt down. In fact, go right ahead and burn it down. Because nobody cares much about the trap house. And if you are treating yourself like a trap house that nobody cares about, then everybody else will follow suit. The thing is, our lives are, we set the standard for our lives. If you treat yourself and if you set a high standard for how your life is going to run, for what you're going to allow and not allow into your life, if you set a high standard, everybody else that comes into your life is going to have to follow that same standard, right? So if you set a low standard, everybody's going to follow suit and everyone's going to follow the same low standard. If you set a high standard, everyone's going to follow the same suit, everyone's going to follow the same high standard. If you disrespect yourself, everybody that comes into your life is going to disrespect you. If you are kind to yourself and you set high standards and you respect yourself and you think highly of yourself, everybody that comes into your life is going to have to think the same. Why? Because if they don't, as a person that respects themselves, you're going to cut them off. You're going to block them and you're never going to speak to them again because they failed to respect you. But if you have a low self-esteem and you have a low opinion of yourself, you're going to think you deserve that. And a lot of people do, because like if you grow up with abandonment issues, if you grow up with shame issues, if you grow up like just living a life where you don't think you deserve much, maybe somebody told you that, or maybe someone treated you that way, maybe your dad abandoned you, maybe your mom abandoned you, somebody abandoned you, or somebody treated you badly when you were a kid and made you believe, or maybe they even told you as much, made you believe that you're not worth much. You took that in and you believed it and you carried it throughout your whole life. Now that you're an adult, it's time to make new decisions about yourself. It's time to form new opinions about yourself because you are obviously special. You're obviously something that is worth something. You don't deserve for people to treat you like a trap house. So you have to set that standard. You have to treat yourself more, like you have to treat yourself better. You have to be good to yourself. You are your most prized possession. You are God's most prized possession. You matter. You're a human being who is loving, who is kind, who is hardworking, who has tried to make something of their life. If you're watching videos like this, that means that you are trying your best to become something better. It means you're trying to do better. You're trying to learn how it is that you can change and make the most out of your life. So there's no need for you to still be abusing yourself, because if you're making these kinds of decisions where people can treat you however they like, you're abusing yourself. You're not being kind to yourself. And that's like some form of abuse, because that's when people who are lowly will come into your life. So when you're not being kind to yourself, people who don't care about themselves, they're going to find friendship in you because they're going to be like, oh, we're the same. We both don't care about each other. And you're going to wonder what made that ugly dude with no money, no plan for his life or future, no this, no that, no that. Why did he think that he could approach me? Like, does he know who I am? Does he see where I am in life, whatever? They felt like they could approach you because of the way that you carry yourself. You carry yourself like somebody who isn't worth much. People can read, like especially narcissists and people like that who have a low self-esteem. They are good at reading people. They're good at reading energy. So they read your energy and they saw that they have an in. And they tried it, like they knocked on the door and they saw that like you were receptive to them and like they could try it. You let them know that they could try it because you allowed whatever they did. Like they maybe like the first time they spoke to you, they made a sexual joke and you didn't really think it was appropriate for the first chat, but you were like, like maybe we'll let it run. You didn't put your foot down and say, excuse me, sir, this is the first time we're talking. Why did you think that was okay to say? Blocked. You didn't say that. You laughed it off like awkwardly and you like allowed it to like let them carry on having a conversation with you after already disrespecting you. Those are the small little signs that someone is testing you, and they want to see, it's going to start off small obviously, and then they want to see how far they can really take it until it's big things where they're outwardly disrespecting you and treating you like nonsense. That's where it starts. It starts with the small things. And so if you allow the small things, eventually it's going to get to the big things where someone is being like really unkind to you. And you don't want to get it to the big things. So you want to catch it quickly while it's still fresh, while they're still starting out. You're going to be like, nope, that's not how we act around here. Not acceptable. Not going to fly. That's not going to run. Goodbye. And that's the end of that. You don't want to like talk too much, because when you talk too much, you're leaving room to be convinced. You're leaving room for somebody to, no, it's just that. No, shut it down quickly. and swiftly, and then you move on, you block them, or do whatever you need to do so that they are out of your life, so that you can carry on to people who are serious, because you don't want to be around people that are unserious about life. That is not going to be the way that you're running your life. It sounds like, maybe it sounds complicated, but it's very easy. It's very easy to get to a point where people are not playing in your face, because that's not what people need to be doing. Nobody deserves to play in your face. Take yourself seriously, people will take you seriously. And then you'll start to see that you will get chose. Like when you take yourself seriously and you carry yourself that way, then you're going to start seeing people gravitating towards you. Because if you center other people instead of centering yourself and your goals and desires, what aspirations you have for your life, and you're centering friends, anytime your friends say jump, you're jumping. How high? What do I weigh? Where do I... Like you're just panicking as soon as your friend group says something. Then they know that. They know that you're just like a little puppy behind them. Don't center anybody in your life except yourself and God. Those are the only people you need to be centering. You don't need to center boys. You don't need to center friends. You don't need to center whatever addiction you have, whether it's weed, whatever addiction you have. You don't need to center that. You need to center yourself and the person that you want to become, and God. That's it. You're going to have a successful life. It's very, very easy. And there's like when you read the Bible, you'll see like there's so many life lessons in there, and depending on how you read them, you can either read them in a very boring way, or you can read them in a way where it's tea, it's fun, it's exciting, because there's a lot of drama in the Bible. Bible is a very, very dramatic book. If they made a series where they just made episodes out of the Bible, actually they need to do that. Somebody needs to do that. Somebody needs to make a series out of the Bible, because if they were doing that, so many more people would be taking the Bible in, and they'd be learning so many lessons, because the Bible is so dramatic. There's so many dramatic stories. It's everything. People are backstabbing each other. People are lying about each other. People this, people that. And you'd get so many lessons, because I get so many lessons from the Bible, because it's just like nothing is new under the sun. Everything that has happened before happens again. And it's just like we need to open our ears and listen. We need to open our eyes and see that everything remains the same. We just need to listen to the people that come before us, i.e. people that wrote the Bible, or our parents. When you grow up, you see like most of the things your mom said, now you see that they're true. So yeah, it's just listening, opening your eyes and seeing that the reason you're not getting the feedback that you want is because you're not putting out what you want to see in the world. You're not planting the seeds that you want to reap. So treat yourself kindly, and other people will treat you kindly. Treat yourself with respect. Other people will treat yourself with respect. That's it. That's the message. I'm so sorry that this episode is late. I spent the whole day on Sunday at the hospital, so that's when I usually will make the Monday episode, and so I had to make it on Monday night, and now here it is on Tuesday, and I hope that's okay. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Send me emails and send me comments, send me whatever, just let's chat and share stories. But do any of you guys read Nayura Waheed? Because she's pretty cool. You guys should check out her poems. And yeah, that's it from me, guys. Have a wonderful week. Treat yourself with kindness. Choose love, choose happiness, choose to be anything but ordinary. Bye.